Hello, you guys. You guys? Hey, you guys. Hello there, gang, and welcome to another episode of Displaying Model Behaviour, the Earth's mightiest action figure video podcast. So take off your pants, crack a beer, and let's talk toys. Let's talk about the Valaverse Action Force Wave 2. Oh my goodness, you know that I was getting obsessed with G.I. Joes, and a simple transition from that is Valaverse Action Force. So let's not stand on ceremony, Mr. Wayne. Let's talk about them. I'm going to pick up, first of all, straight away. Boom! Sgt Slaughter, you maggots, you puke! My only reference for Sgt Slaughter really is WrestleMania 7 Iraqi sympathizer Sgt Slaughter, so that's always where my brain goes. Although I do remember him from the animated movie as well. It's like, you're gonna go home in a bag, an itty bitty ditty bag. So ridiculous. Gotta love Sarge. What a fantastic figure this is. So from what I understand, the Valaverse guys are former G.I. Joe creators who are now making their own line, but totally based off the existing line, so they can fit side by side beautifully. And that's what this does. Like, these just incorporate with the G.I. Joe classifieds. Just, they fit like a glove. They're so great. This Sgt Slaughter here, you're going to find, just like with the classifieds, it's the extras and the accessories. So much going on here. So Sarge, let me get a little bag of bits. Sarge has so much in his bag of bits. You're spoiled for choice. So this is how I've chosen to display him, but you've got a lot going on here. So right now we've got his kind of waistcoat going on here. Plus, he's got the removable backpack, which actually I realized, like, if it's on his waistcoat, like, it doesn't really, there are no straps going over the shoulders. So kayfabe-wise, that doesn't really fit. But there's a hole in the back for the backpack to go into. But it's just magically clipped onto his back. Don't know how I feel about that. But I'm going to look past that because there is just so much to love here. So he also has his little army backpack kind of strap as well. So you can totally remove this jacket and put these straps on as well. And I can't decide which look I prefer, actually. I might swap it back around after this because I really like these two. The grenade launcher, awesome. I'm getting ahead of myself here. He also has so many hands. All the figures have so many hands. I'm not gonna bore you by going over all the different hands for all the different people because they all have the same grips with like clenched, trigger, open. It's just, you've got a lot to choose from. So taking a look at Sarge here, this is his basic look, but of course, well, I say basic because I've chosen for it to be basic. You can pop his kind of commander hat off there, and you can put his sort of in the action type hat going on there, and that totally changes up the look of the figure, especially when his glasses fall off like that as well. That's kind of an irritating piece. The sunglasses, oh man, I wish they gave you a separate head. Because so many characters do have separate heads, that to have a different one where the glasses are just molded on, that would make life so much easier. Because you really do have to balance. You got to balance these ever so carefully, and they just kind of just barely rest on his face, and it's very difficult to get them to be in just like the perfect sort of place. So honestly, I would much prefer if there was a separate head with those molded on there. But speaking of the head, when you take a look at this expression, I can't even do it. I don't know how, like that gurning Sgt Slaughter look. I think the only way you can do that expression is if you have a gigantic chin, like he does. They captured the dude brilliantly. No sooner did I order this guy than Hasbro announced their own Sgt Slaughter. So I'm probably going to end up with two. And I'm just going to see which one is best, because this is going to take quite some topping. You see, he's also got his gigantic revolver here, which is so, so cool. And it fits into his open front holster, which I'm guessing is like a military style. I'm imagining a lot of this stuff, not all of it, but a lot of it is based off of very real world type equipment. The only difficulty is, like, it does fall out quite easily. Sarge is a bit like Buckaroo. If you remember that game with the donkey and you put all the things on, if you tap him too hard, like, it'll all come tumbling down. It'll come crashing down and hurt inside. So the grenade launcher he comes with, this is great. The amount of detail on here, you've got the spinning barrels as well. You can just imagine them going dunk, 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 and just, you know, shooting those grenades out. That's really, really wicked. Then working up from the boots look lovely with the little bits of lace detail going on there. And again, different paint apps as well. That's what Valaverse they're doing really well with adding nice different shades. There's so many types of green in this, but even when I say that, there are areas where more paint would have been nice, like with his strap that goes around his body here. You've got some black on the clasps there, but still it does look like a lot of just green plastic. So some slightly more, you know, different colored paint detail, it would have been nice. I'm just saying, would have been nice. Same for the backpack here. There's some nice molding and sculpting going on the backpack, but it still just looks like a big block of plastic. What's kind of cool though is it does open up at the back there, so that you can store some of his accessories like the sunglasses or whatnot. Not a lot, but it's nice to have that. But yeah, this is Sarge. I'm really, really happy with him. I think that it's difficult to get everything lined up right, but when you do, he looks the business. So yeah, this guy's really cool. Next up, we've got Rollout. And Rollout, I guess, is kind of like the equivalent to Roadblock in the G.I. Joe line. That there are some characters who you're like, yeah, okay, I can definitely see who this is supposed to be. And that's half the fun as well. I see that Valaverse also did a Swarm character who's like a riff on Waspinator from the Transformers. I love that kind of unofficial integration mashup. That's just brilliant. I love the way that Four Horsemen do it with He-Man and their Mythic Legions line. It's so fun. It's a sly little wink and a nod. If you know, you know. And that's really cool. So Rollout here, again, it's not like a character who I know because these are all original people. So really, the appeal comes down to, is it a good action figure? That's why these Action Force ones, they have to be good because there's no nostalgia. They gotta sink or swim, live or die on whether or not they're a decent action figure. And guess what? Yeah, this dude is a decent action figure. You see I can just pop the helmet off here and he's got a great looking face sculpt. What's kind of funny is when I was doing a live stream unboxing, I think the face looks terrible in the camera. His eyes, the way the light catches them, they look like, whoa, like he's really afraid of something. But then when you actually have the figure in hand and you're looking at it under normal light, just looks like a really good face sculpt. Kind of a neutral expression, but don't worry, if you're bored of neutral expressions, we're gonna fix that pretty soon. But it's the amount of little intricate detail that maybe sometimes is more than you need. Like on the helmet here, the ear defenders will actually pop off so that you can position them however you want or have them with or without. The same goes for the night vision goggles. You see, you've got them in the upright position here, but then you can flip them over and actually have them down on his head, so he's got the full-on night vision style. Now, I thought he looks really cool with the night vision goggles down, but in kayfabe in my brain, I can't have him displayed like that if no one else has night vision goggles, because it's like, dude, what are you doing? It's clearly daytime. Why do you have your night vision on? It's that kind of thing that my brain just can't get around. So also, he has another head as well. You've got to love the alternate heads. And this is one that I was quite torn about having on because I like it, but I think that his unmasked head is even better. But you've got this cool looking balaclava style as well. And of course the helmet fits on there too. So that's kind of doubling up there if you want full-on covert Navy SEAL Black Ops type mission. That looks pretty wicked. So ultimately, yeah, I prefer the actual face that features, well, more of the features. But then speaking of features of the action figure itself, there's a lot going on here. And you can see from me changing the heads that one thing I will say about these figures, like they are quite stiff with the joints. And people said that about the first wave, even more so. They said you might want to have like a little hairdryer or a heat gun when you first get these guys because their joints, like you really gotta work your way through them. These I find are not so bad. They're certainly stiffer than Marvel Legends, I'd say, but not to any bad degree. You can see that Rollout here, you can almost kick his butt right up in the back there, so you've got a lot of room for articulation and maneuverability. But there are pros and cons as far as the designs of these figures go in that regard. Like, for example, because they've got the big flak jacket here, you're not getting any ab crunch. There's just nowhere for it to go, but that's fine. I've got him as like an army man. He's standing there ready to go into combat. He doesn't need to be hunched over or anything like that. So that's fine. And when you look at his flak jacket here, look at all the detail going on. You've got the magazines in the pockets there, which are removable. Those just slide in so nicely. That's a great little fit there. And it's just the added value of like, they didn't need to have removable magazines, but they included them anyway. Because they were like, you know what? Let's go the extra mile. And then just the extra green detail on the little bits and pieces that are in there. He's got the Valaverse Action Force logo. The zip is a different color. This is more of the attention to detail that I would have maybe liked to have seen on some of Sarge's stuff. Just to give it a bit more depth is all I'm saying. He's got the great little Bowie knife in the back there, which of course fits in. That's what I love. That's what I love about the G.I. Joe line as well. It's having a place for all of these accessories to go. That's so cleverly done. And the weapons, kind of like I was mentioning with Sarge, I'm assuming they're all real world weapons. And that's wicked, because this machine gun here, I don't know what it is. I think I saw something similar in Far Cry, but it just looks legit. It looks really, really cool. So I love the black and the olive colors on there. That's fantastic. And then similarly, they do reuse bits and pieces, but that kind of makes sense. If they're all army people wearing army gear, they're going to wear similar stuff. So he's got the, is it a canteen maybe? On his thigh holster here, which of course is a separate piece too. He's got the lovely handgun, which of course, like all the guns, is a removable, separate little piece as well. I've got no idea what kind of gun that is. I don't know if it's a legit handgun or not. It looks pretty futuristic and chunky. But then again, we are living in the future, so that would make sense. Granted, it's a fairly dystopian future. It's not quite RoboCop, but it ain't Back to the Future 2 either. We're somewhere in the middle. But that's Rollout, and yeah, so he's not the most articulatable, although you do have a nice little bit of a waist swivel there, so you can move him around and make him a bit more dynamic. But as a standard army dude, I think he's just unique enough to be worth a purchase, because even just standing there on the shelf, it looks like he has his own character, and that's what I really dig. Now we got a great, fun, crazy, wacky looking guy with Duster. Duster, look at this guy! Ah! It's so much fun. There's two different heads, of course, one with a more neutral expression as well, but come on, look at this guy. Ah! It's just so much fun. He's ridiculous. He has the same helmet as Rollout, but also he has, what's different is he's got the little communications device on the side as well, which you can also attach without the main helmet as well. You can really mix up how you want to display him. Again, super fun stuff. Got the night vision goggles on top too, which of course I'm going to have in the upright position because it ain't nighttime, but that's just wonderful. Then with the unmasked head, just I don't know who this is based on. Apparently they are based on real people. I didn't know that, but this is actually some dude who they fashioned this on, and I really dig that. There are other YouTube channels who kind of specialize in Valaverse. I need to go and watch more of them because I want to learn more about this line. But going through, again, he's kind of a generic army special ops mercenary type guy, but I just love all the little bits of detail that they have. Look, just check out the little butterfly knife. How cool is that there, just in his belt there with the extra silver going on? It's such a cool little touch. And then he's got the teeny tiny little knife there. He's got the radio communicator in the back and the little wire that goes through and under the flak jacket. Like, that's what I'm so impressed about. These figures were clearly made by military nerds. Like, big time military nerds who are like, we are gonna make all the notes of everything, that this is how this equipment works, fits together. Like, I'm sure that this thigh holster with the canteen, like, that's gonna be legit. That's based off of something there. Everything looks like it's, this is a guy who I would have seen on Narcos or, you know, any one of those kind of type TV shows with dudes like this going, ah! He just looks legit, is what I'm saying. Just looks really legit. And then also, just seeing more on his flak jacket here, just like with Rollout, you've got the extra clips that can come out here for the gun. You've got his knife up at the front here. There's just so much fun to be had with this. That's the most wonderful thing. There's so much that you can do with him. Then you see we've also got the very basic looking head as well. But honestly, I mean, why? Why would you have this head when you can have this one? So much more fun, so bonkers, so ridiculous. I love it. But this is a perfectly serviceable one too. And if you want to, I suppose you could always use it to customize some other figure if you want. That's kind of fun. I mean, if you wanted to, because Sarge is on a fairly normal sort of human kind of body, you could always kit bash this one over and have a different character like that, especially if you are going to get a classified Sgt Slaughter. You can play around. Actually, that's not a bad idea, actually. maybe I'll do that. So yeah, this guy, what I also love, kind of like I was saying before, just like with Sarge, probably more so even, so many different greens. Had no idea there were so many greens, but there's olive green and grass green and baby puke green, all the different ones here to make this look like a layered different types of tactical wear sort of ensemble. I really, really dig it. And you can see he can sort of hold his gun quite well with both hands, which sort of counts for a lot for me as well. I really love it. I'm digging this guy, but he's not the best. Because the best by a wide margin and country mile has to be the Scarab. Oh my goodness. Potential figure of the year right here. I freaking love this guy. One of the bad guys. I still need to read up more on the history, the kayfabe history of the Action Force Valaverse line. But basically, sort of dystopian, post-war United States, different factions vying for control and power and stuff. And these are kind of the bad guys, essentially. Or these are the shock troopers of the bad guys. Very, very Cobra-ish. But I love the kind of insectoid, hive, kind of waspy sort of vibe they've got going for them. Because there were other ones that came out in the first line who were, I think, called the Swarm. So like Swarm commanders, who were basically in charge of these guys, I guess. And again, they had a very buggy, waspy sort of look to them. And I'm digging that. I want to get a whole wasp hornet's nest type group of mercenaries, which is annoying now because now I'm like, gosh, I kind of want Yellow Jacket from the MCU line now. Dang it! But I mean, I don't need any more because this is just so beautiful. So this includes an accessory pack as well. The accessories are the shield here and also this beautiful backpack with the wings. I mean, just look at the waspy detail on the back there, the honeycomb design. If you're building an AIM army, boom, there you go. Some fantastic extra special ops AIM troopers here. But you can just see all the different levels that go on with this sort of design. He's got his main sort of armor jacket here, which is a separate piece. All the individual bullets that look like shotgun shells, and they actually have the different colors, the different colored tips to the rest of the casing there. Just little bits of little itty bitty detail that just makes it look so good. Also, the grenade launcher here, that's from the accessory pack too, because he normally comes with the handgun and also with a with this machine gun grenade launcher here. Yeah, I bought two. Can you blame me? I wouldn't. I'm not a big army builder, but come on, like you can't not have two of these guys and two accessory packs to go with them, because come on, treat yourself. And yeah, this guy is an absolute treat. Like I said, he's got the sidearm here, which fits beautifully into the backpack, into the holster, sorry. And then he's got these actual sort of, I don't know what you call them, garter belts, I suppose. He's got these garter belts that go around here that hold everything together. It's just the practicality that goes into it. You know, people look at this and they're like, how would this armor function? What would it work? How would it work? What would be the uses and the nuances of it? I love all the little yellow accents as well. It's great that this sort of evil, you know, ruling empire has a really nice fashion designer too. And they're like, yeah, we want it to be practical and tactical, but also little flashes of yellow, and that's what they've got. And that comes to a peak with this amazing honeycomb insectoid helmet here. So cool. This is what sold me. Big time. It's just that blank, evil looking, faceless honeycomb dome. It just looks so cool. It's very kind of Mr. Freeze, Mysterio. I mean, there's a bajillion different people who look like this. All of them tend to be evil. Not quite all of them, but a lot of them. And it just looks so sinister. These two guys coming at you like Cleopatra, yeah, you're gonna be in trouble. If you're like some protester out there throwing rocks at the authorities, yeah, these guys are going to send you home with your balls in a sling. So I love them, absolutely adore them. And then, like I was saying, pairing up so well with G.I. Joe. Just look at this guy next to a bat. They go perfectly together. You could just see these guys as part of a platoon going into battle. You could go crazy with the army building if you wanted to. I love the bats. They are some of my figures of the year. This guy's right up there too. This has been This has been a good year so far, and we ain't even halfway through. So much more to look forward to. Let's do a few more comparisons. So we just racked up the whole kind of Valaverse Wave 2 line here, but we're going to stack up some more G.I. Joes to go with them. So you can see one of my absolute favorites here. Check out Outback. You can see Outback alongside Rollout there and Duster. He suits them just absolutely perfectly. They go together so well. Then you've got Major Blood. I mean, this dude fitting in with, like, you know, a very human looking character. Like, they look like they're from the same manufacturer. They look like they're from the same lines, except maybe Action Force Valaverse just tweaked a little bit more, because they are a little more expensive, but you see where the money goes as well. And then, of course, you throw in the Bat, too, to go as one of those other shock troopers. They all just look phenomenal together. It's like, hey, if you weren't spending enough money on G.I. Joe, why not buy 2 lines of G.I. Joe? And honestly, I'm not even mad about it. These look so great. The only thing I am mad about is that I didn't get on board with these sooner, because the Wave 1 figures look really cool as well, but they are hard to come by now, and yeah, they're fetching big prices. So I'm just going to shake it off like a dog. I don't need them, but I'm going to be all in on Wave 3 when it comes out, especially because it looks like they're going to go full in on female characters, which is super fun. That's going to balance out the roster, make it look so much more interesting, because one thing I will say is, at the moment, it is very olive green, generic army dudes. And there's a couple of other characters who I was like, I don't actually need these guys, because they're just generic looking army dudes. I need more of a gimmick. Just like with pro wrestling, it's like being a great pro wrestler is all good, but I need something to get on board with a bit more, you know? Even if it is just a face going, ah! It's good enough for me. So that does it, guys. That is my review of Valaverse Action Force Wave 2. What do you think of these guys? Comment below, let me know. And if you like what you see here and you want to see more, well, you know what you can do. You can go over to patreon.com/displaying-model-behavior. Throw a couple of bucks my way, and you can watch all the exclusive videos on there. Or if you don't want to go over to Patreon, you can stay right here on YouTube. You can grab yourself a channel membership and watch all those same videos, and you can have the special little icons and whatnot so that I can see who the channel members are when we're doing the live streams and I'm answering comments, all that kind of stuff. It's super fun. And if you don't have any bucks to toss me at all, that's also fine. But you can join the 6-1 clicks by clicking the like, share, and subscribe buttons. So guys, thank you so much for that. It's exhausting doing all that shilling. But until next time, keep displaying model behavior.